Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. It is late, that's why I'm talking softly. I was going to sit down and make a few beads before calling it a night, and then I thought, hey, I'll turn the camera on. I told you guys that I would show you how to make my chunky tapered beads, so that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to be using this paper that I painted using shaving cream paint that Skylar made, shaving cream and glue. It happens to be just blue copy paper, and I painted it with that. I'm just going to aim the camera down and show you how we make this bead. I know you can't really see good, so I will show you close up after I set this up. Get yourself a handy dandy cutting board like this. If you're into making paper beads, it's a must-have. I just used my fingernail and I made a mark at 1 inch on this end, and then on the opposite end, I made a mark at a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put that on my edge of my cutting board with the 1/2 inch up there and the inch down here, and then I just rub my finger along to fold that. Now I'll show you what that looks like. See, I just put the notch, the 1 inch notch right here, and the 1/2 inch notch up here, and then when I fold that paper down, it just really holds it into place. Now I can't cut with one hand, so I'll put the camera back up, but when I cut, it's just going to cut right on that line. So I'm just going to cut. Okay, I need 2 strips for each bead. This is the first strip. Now the second strip, I'm going to mark it at a 1/2 inch, and then on this end, we're just going to cut right to the end. So I'm putting the paper down at the 1/2 inch mark, and I'm bringing it just so that there's just a tiny little bit sticking out. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push down, secure that in place, and cut. So this one is like our typical triangle. It just goes down to nothing. So we have our 2 strips for this bead. We start with the bead that has the 1 inch end, and I like to just straighten that out a little bit on both sides, just so we can get a couple of revolutions with straight paper. I use paint brushes to roll on, and I'm just going to start rolling it. And you just roll it so that your strip stays in the center. And all the colors that you have on that paper will show on the edges. I put a little bit of glue. Okay, and now I'm going to take the other piece and I'm just going to attach it. And it doesn't have to be exactly where you stopped. Some people want to match that line right up, but I do see it's a little bit wider, so I'm going to just trim it just a tiny bit on each side. And that'll work great. I'm just going to continue rolling. So what it is you're just creating like one gigantic long triangle, but you're doing it in 2 parts. And that allows you to make a thicker, chunky bead. And this one has come out really good with the colors I do love. Now many of you want to know about the glazing, so I'm just going to go ahead and glaze this one. I'm just using Mod Podge gloss. This is just the regular Mod Podge. You can get it at any craft store and even Walmart. I put my bead on a bigger brush to just hold it for me while I glaze it. Take another paintbrush and I just dip it in the glaze and I put it on there, nice and generous. Whoops, get on there, stay on there, will ya? Would be nice if I was under the camera, wouldn't it? I just slather it on there. And I don't get too fussy about it because I'm going to do another coat anyway. That will dry clear, and then when it's dry, I will do another coat, and then that will be done. So let's make another one together. When you design paper for tapered beads, you want to roll in the opposite direction of your stripes. You don't have to, but this way you're going to see all the colors. Like if I were to cut the triangle in this direction, well, if I was on this piece, the whole bead would be just green, which is fine. If I were to cut here, it would be blue and purple or whatever that color is. If I cut here, it would be these green stripes. That's great if you want a variety of different color beads. But if I do it this way, every bead is going to look pretty much the same color-wise. So that's the way I do it. Okay, so let me go down here and measure 1 inch. Make a mark. On the other side, I do a 1/2 inch and make a mark. Now I'm going to cut using those 2 points. I have my first long triangle. Now I'm going to use this part because it's already going at an angle like this. I'm going to mark my 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to cut right down to the pointy end of it. I let it stick out maybe a 1/16 of an inch. I have strip number 2. While I have my paper here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut some more. I'll be right back. I have all these strips. I have an even amount of wide ones and more narrow ones. At the end, it's hard to hold the paper under the cutter, so I just cut it by hand, and I was left with this one tiny strip of paper that I will turn into a bead for the mixed lot that I will have on eBay next month. So I'll just roll one more with you guys. I'm just going to trim my wide end. I like to start with a straight piece. And I can take any skinny one, and I'm going to trim it a little tiny bit again. Put some glue. One of the funnest parts about making beads is painting the paper. It's just so fun to design the paper and see how it turns out. I'm not going to bother to Mod Podge this one because I'll just wait until I'm done and then I'll do them all. I wanted to do that first one just to show you. I just have a floral block, styrofoam floral thingy, and I put toothpicks in it. And that's where I put the beads. So, I hope you liked this bead. This one's almost dry from the first coat of Mod Podge. Let me show you. Look how pretty it is. And with another coat of Mod Podge, it's going to be fantastic. Okay, that's it for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Just want to show you I was able to make 8 chunky beads with that one piece of paper. Pretty cool. You can always check my eBay listings. I list bead auctions the first of the month, every month, and the auctions run for a week. I have the link down below in my description box. And please subscribe if you haven't yet, because I really, really want you to.